into very many stories. It's just going to be headlines just to kind of capture the insanity. So if you want to look further into any of the headlines mentioned, just pause the video and search the exact headline, because you should be able to see it, or exactly what I say, just Google it. Nothing on this video is anything that takes expert research. It's all just local newsfeed or random newsfeed. It shouldn't be hard to find. Here's the start of 2021. Ready? Buckle up. A watchdog group out of the UK says patients with learning disabilities were given do not resuscitate orders if they had coronavirus. What? Wow. 78-year-old woman dies at California vaccination site after being inoculated. New Zealand imposes a 3-day lockdown after 3 new local COVID-19 cases. 3 new cases, 3-day lockdown. Fuck that. New York Police Department deploys 500 officers to patrol subway after 4 stabbings in less than 24 hours. Wow, that seems ridiculous. 2 people are dead. Oklahoma police find human body among 165 matted, filthy, scared, and hungry dogs at a puppy mill. What the fudge is the world coming to? Bears released into the wild and immediately turn on their rescuers. You guys, this is the second time that this has happened to these people in the exact same place. They release the bears and the bears flip out on them. Different bears, different people, same organization. Crazy. Like a cloud is falling out of the sky, NASA images show rare fall streak holes over Florida. I've never heard of this before right now. Anyways, so according to this, it's believed that planes can trigger fall streak holes to form if they fly through an area with super cooled water droplets, leaving a trail of water vapor, pollution, and aerosols. Those planes' byproducts can introduce nuclei seed that causes super cooled water to freeze it, and then it pokes a hole through it like a cartoon. Pornhub unveils biometric login for users, makes watching porn way more personal than we were hoping for. Says Pornhub is making it hard for men everywhere to log in, that is. At least that's what some folks are saying. Okie dokie. A Wuhan lab at center of COVID storm designed cages to breed bats for virus experiments. That seems a little suspicious. Anyways, just something to think about. 4 people in Oregon who received both doses of the vaccine tested positive for the coronavirus. So that vaccine's not doing so great then, I suppose. Huh? That's what it kind of looks like, right? So I really need you to think about this next one here. Think about this. Japan rocked by an aftershock from a devastating 9.0 magnitude earthquake that hit in 2011. What? An aftershock from an earthquake in 2011? Because that's a thing. I've never heard of that. The 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck the country's east coast Saturday. 48 injuries, blah, 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 blah. The earthquake that caused the country's worst nuclear disaster on record. More than 20,000 people died or went missing in the 2011 earthquake. And it says that authorities spent the last 10 years cleaning up the area, a massive effort that experts say will take another few decades to complete. Yeah. Anyways, I just have never in my life heard of an aftershock coming 10 years after an earthquake and triggering landslides and what? I don't know. Has anybody else ever heard of this? This is insane. I read the whole thing, and you can read the whole thing, but it's just kind of seems stupid to even suggest. But I don't know anything about earthquakes. I'm not a earthquake person. I don't even know what the hell that's called. So yeah, here's another brain buster. The CDC recommends putting a hosiery over your face along with the mask. Yeah. So they finally recognize that masks that they've had everyone wearing for the better part of the year are largely ineffective because of all the gaps on the top and the sides. So they came up with a new technique experimented with mannequins in a lab. They have not tested them on actual humans and have no empirical data. And this study even warns that the findings are based not based on any sort of medical procedure or anything like that. They're simulations. It says double masking might impede breathing or obstruct peripheral vision. Imagine that. New study finds that vitamin D reduces COVID deaths by 60%. Exactly what all the doctors that keep getting kicked off social media have been saying for the whole time. COVID-19 could become like an illness like the flu, just like the seasonal flu. Didn't ever see that one coming. Nope, sure didn't. Guys, if you haven't heard about this, you need to. Cuomo faces rising scrutiny over the COVID-19 nursing home deaths. Seriously, if you have not looked into this, if you have not heard about it, look into it, read about it. This is probably one of the most messed up things to come out of the whole COVID-19 thing. This asshole murdered tens of thousands of old people. It's fucked up. He should be punished. All right, retirement home removes door handles, trapping COVID-19 positive residents in their rooms. That's according to a whistleblower. Super messed up. Then we have Gates' daughter joking about getting the COVID-19 vaccine online. Haha. French authority recommends a single dose shot for those previously infected with COVID-19. COVID-19 Oxford vaccine to be tested on children as young as 6 in the world's first trial. Who is volunteering their children for these things? Are people falling in love with their Peloton instructors? Oh, you guys, are these not what the fuck headlines? Like, why, I don't. Coca-Cola Company trials first paper bottle. I mean, I'm cool with eliminating plastic, but I don't know. First paper bottle. Okay. Hunter Biden still owns 10% of Chinese private equity firm 24 days into Biden's presidency. I feel like that's illegal. All right. Thought detection. AI has infiltrated our last bastion of privacy. Yes. Thought detection. Thought detection, guys. Also, new AI makes mistakes on purpose. A chess program that learns from human error might be better at working with people or negotiating with them. A 12-year-old boy allegedly shot and killed a home intruder during an armed robbery. This story is actually kind of cool. This dude shot his grandma, and then this 12-year-old shot the person that shot his grandma. Fears of a twin-demic are over. The U.S. has seen a 98% drop in flu hospitalizations, likely due to COVID-19 measures. Sure. The mystery of the Loch Ness Monster has finally been solved. 2021. You heard it here first. Monica Lewinsky lets her feelings be known about Trump's impeachment trial. Nobody cares, Monica. I'm sorry. You're irrelevant. Sorry. Not sorry. Elon Musk says Neuralink implanted a chip in a monkey's brain and now he can play video games using his mind. Okay, look, Elon, you need to slow the frick down. Slow down, sir. Or maybe not. You know what's up, actually. He knows what's up with the AI, and that's why he's doing what he's doing, or at least that's what they tell us, right? Guys, not trying to be mean, not talking shit. I'm just saying. This is a picture of Lauren Jones from Lithuania in Rwanda. She had none of the underlying health conditions known to make someone more susceptible to coronavirus, but deteriorated rapidly after checking herself into the hospital. I mean, I can tell you at least one condition that she had that makes her so susceptible, more susceptible. Anyways, let's see. State health officials say they rely on a very complex set of measurements that would confuse and potentially mislead the public if they were made public. So Gavin Newsom is keeping the complex set of measurements out of public sight. California keeps key virus data out of public sight. Are you allowed to do that? My gosh. If Gavin's got to be recused or recalled or whatever it's called. It's freaking ridiculous. All right. The flu is now almost completely wiped out, experts say. The flu has dropped by 95% according to official data, having fallen to levels not seen in more than 130 years. Guys, why do we think that is? It doesn't have anything to do with bullshit in COVID, does it? Who knows? Democratic senior Dianne Feinstein admits she did not properly declare husband's stock purchase. Imagine that. She did not properly disclose one of her husband's stock purchases and has said that she'd be prepared to pay the fine. I bet she will. Liquid nitrogen leak kills 6, injures at least 9 at Georgia poultry plant, officials say. What? It's just crazy to me. This is the most crazy. For the second time since the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, a police officer who rushed to the scene has died by suicide. Okay, so this is the second officer that has committed suicide that was involved in the attack on the Capitol. So I hate to be always in the mystery wagon trying to solve mysteries and whatnot, but can we stop and look at this for a second and recognize that when these people are talking about, 6 died in the riot, 10 or 5 died in the riot, they're talking about 2 cops that committed suicide as well, added in those numbers. But even above and beyond that, what are the odds that 2 of those cops commit suicide? I don't know, just seems pretty ridiculous. Like maybe they knew a little too much and they were suicided is more likely. Mom kills daughter 5 years old by gouging out her eyes and eating her tongue. Holy shit. That's not okay. Chicago teacher says in-person schooling allows white people to kill black families. If we do not speak up, nice white parents will get us killed. What? COVID brain, a possibility as virus levels are 1,000 times higher in the brain than in the lungs. New York undercounted nursing home coronavirus deaths by as much as 50%. So, yeah, this is the Cuomo thing that I was just reading about. You guys, listen to what this bastard says, too.
1/3 of all deaths in this nation are from nursing homes. New York State, we're only about 28%.
Lie.
But we're below the national average in number of deaths in nursing
More
homes.
lies.
But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died.
And what a piece of shit he is, huh? Wow. Anyways, this is just satire here. Coronavirus plan calls to stay home and watch impeachment. It's funny. Let's see. Portland mayor pepper sprayed maskless man who he says had refused to back away 6 feet. That's not satire. That's real shit. Oh, gosh. I don't know. Google salvaged Robinhood's 1-star rating by deleting nearly 100,000 negative reviews. I mean, that should be illegal too. You can't do that. And then look at this chick. The inauguration star Ella Omhoff signs a major modeling deal. This girl looks like something off of Harry Potter, and I don't even know. Look, are you really serious? Look at her. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Facts are no longer convincing. Research shows that you should say this instead. Holy shit. So facts don't matter anymore. Facts are rather less certain in people's minds than they once were. Gosh, guys. Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine is 100% effective at preventing deaths, hospital says. Wow, that's amazing. It's really good odds. Let's see. No tuna in Subway's tuna sandwich and wraps claims a lawsuit. Dude, I'm going to be so mad if I find out there's not actually tuna in a Subway tuna sandwich. It'll be so sad. So, Talon gene editing tool is more efficient than the CRISPR in a compact DNA study, which is insane because CRISPR is an insanely good gene editing tool. So an even better one is kind of mind-blowing to even think about. They were lying, Governor Walz says, about federal COVID-19 vaccine stockpile. Imagine that. Governments don't lie. So Noem issues executive order against South Dakota marijuana use, even though they voted it into law or whatever, she is taking it away. Pain relief medications like Tylenol and Advil are perfectly fine, but only after the COVID vaccine. It says not to take Tylenol or Advil or whatever before the COVID vaccine, but it's fine to take after. I wonder why. Somebody should look into that and tell me why. South Dakota lawmaker proposed an anti-vaccination bill. That's what I'm talking about. It's probably a good idea. So this threw me off. Las Vegas man dies after being transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So here's like the whole story. It happened around 3:15 a.m. Evidence at the scene surveillance showed a Honda traveling through a parking lot at an unsafe speed. Driver lost control of the car and hit the building near a large garage door. The driver was transported to St. Rose Sienna Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Then on January 28th, 10 days after this accident, the county coroner informed police that the man had died. His death is the 11th traffic-related fatality in Las Vegas. The cause of death has not been revealed. That's just weird. Sexual misconduct allegations against Lincoln Project co-founder. Congressman tests positive for COVID-19 after receiving second dose of vaccine. Woo. China is rehearsing for when it takes over America. Rehearsing. China threatens to do nothing on climate change if U.S. continues genocide accusations. Zombie nation. A third of adults walking around in concussion-like state. Dazed due to stress and lack of sleep. There's a pretty good reason to make sure you're getting enough rest and relaxation in your life. A survey of more than 31,000 people shows that insufficient sleep, mental health problems, and stress were the cause of a whole host of symptoms doctors are used to seeing in head injury patients, symptoms of what doctors call post-concussion syndrome. 27% of people report having several of these symptoms. Between 1/2 and 3/4 say they experience at least one. The most common symptoms are fatigue, low energy, and drowsiness. Yet, despite their findings, researchers believe the number in the general population could be much higher. Google is leading a vast covert human experiment. You may be one of the guinea pigs. So this is actually being done in Australia, and I think it's probably over by now. But they really did do this giant test on people. It's pretty stupid. All right, collapsologists are warning humanity that business as usual will make the Earth uninhabitable. That is a fact. We're in the direction of complete, total planetary omnicide at a rate that you couldn't even imagine. But this is more interesting. It may sound like something out of a futuristic science fiction film, but scientists have managed to engineer spinach plants that are capable of sending emails. Through nanotechnologies, engineers at MIT in the US have transformed spinach into sensors capable of detecting explosive materials. And then when they do detect that, these plants are able to wirelessly relay the information back to the scientists. They email the scientists. Spinach. Spinach. Americans abandoning free speech better brace for the consequences. I know that's right. It's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Duh. Astronomer says aliens have visited, and he's not kidding. Okie dokie. So that's a thing now. So the moon, we just learned something about the moon that's pretty hard to believe. It definitely affects our sleep. The moon has real measurable effect on the amount of sleep we get and when we feel tired. So that's pretty cool. Doesn't surprise me, really. 5 children among 6 killed in Muskogee, Oklahoma on a shooting rampage. So 6 people were killed, 5 of them were children, which is tragic. Astronomers spot bizarre, never-before-seen activity from one of the strongest magnets in the universe. Perfect. See, Bill Gates is the largest farmland owner, When you think of Gates, you probably think tech, not farmland. Yet Bill Gates is the biggest owner of farmland in the US. He owns a whopping 242,000 acres of farmland across 18 states, which is estimated to be worth 726 million. There's Biden. That's a joke. It's a joke, guys. It's copy or forged or whatever. A man found alive 18 days after his funeral. Anyways, the Biden thing was like photoshopped. I said forged, but I meant photoshopped. CDC reports indicate 62% of nursing home staff refuse to be vaccinated. I wonder why. All right, people who have had COVID-19 may develop 10 times more antibodies after a single vaccine dose, a sign that they may only need one shot. Yeah, or none. They probably need none shots. And then this was a sign in Montana. The governor of the state of Montana has directed that persons entering an indoor facility must wear a mask and requires us to post this notice on our door. It is not a law. If you have a medical condition that prevents you from wearing a mask, you are exempt from this order. Due to HIPAA and the Fourth Amendment, we cannot legally ask you about your medical condition. Therefore, if we see you without a mask, we will assume you have a medical condition and we will welcome you inside to support our business. Yes. If every single place did this, that would be so great. I definitely was in there and I definitely supported this business. But I guess they've really gotten quite a hard time about it. Luckily, it's in the middle of nowhere, so, they get away with it. All right, so every U.S. state will see below freezing temperatures over the next week, even Hawaii. It's about to get so cold that boiling water will flash freeze and frostbite will occur within 30 minutes. All right, Nevada wants to let tech companies start their own governments. This is dead ass. It's become something of a cliche to say that mega corporations are as powerful as entire countries, if not more so. And while that sort of grandiose assertion about the overall power and influence held by companies is certainly up for debate, there's no question that there are companies whose pervasive reach into our daily lives is indeed alarming. But what would happen if that membrane between the government and corporation were erased altogether? Residents of Nevada might soon find out. Draft legislation backed by Democratic Governor Steve Sisolak and obtained this week suggests that Nevada's efforts to entice tech companies to set up shop within the state could go so far as allowing qualifying businesses to establish innovation zones, autonomous zones, corporate territories that would allow these companies to create their own governments, their own schools, their own post offices, etc., etc. Bill and Melinda Gates' COVID-19 will change how the world thinks about health forever, and so will they undoubtedly change the way how everybody thinks about them forever. The pandemic could continue for 7 years under current vaccination rate. That's not really a thing, I don't think. I hope not. All right, Virginia woman dies shortly after COVID vaccination. Though no link has been found. No link will ever be found, you guys. I need you to understand that. There will never be a link found between the vaccination and all these deaths. According to NASA, Las Vegas is the brightest city on Earth, which I did not know. I knew that the Luxor light was like the brightest light, but I didn't know that we were the brightest city. So I don't know if that's kind of sad or kind of cool, whatever. So BLM and Antifa protesters chant "Burn it down" during march through nation's capital. We're not going to talk about that though, because that's totally different than when the Trump supporters, rioted in the Capitol. That's totally different. And then this is funny, guys. The last 3 presidents. Come on, it's funny. It's funny. If you can't laugh at that, there's something wrong with you. All right, the largest near-Earth asteroid of 2021 is now barreling towards us right now. Yeah, but it's expected to make a close pass. So yeah, we probably won't die. But unless we get this, the mysterious new disease with victims vomiting blood and dying within hours claims 15 lives. Yeah, so, maybe we'll vomit blood. Maybe we'll die from an asteroid. Maybe the world will just overheat. Nobody knows. Either way, outlook not so good. Forget about 5G. The US and China are already fighting for 6G dominance. Perfect. That probably has no health implications whatsoever. In Florida, a near miss with a cybersecurity worst case scenario. A hacker broke into Florida water treatment plant and ordered it to increase the amount of lye in the water to extremely dangerous levels. The plant operators noticed it and remedied their systems before anyone was put in danger, but highlights the risk. South Korea launches tests for pet cats and dogs. COVID-19 tests for cats and dogs if they show symptoms. Shut the fuck. Some scientists believe all life started on Mars. You know what? Sometimes I believe that all life started on Mars as well. Like this life that I'm living in 2021 is fucking unreal. Right, Brazil to test COVID-19 vaccination on city's entire adult population. What the what? South Africa to start COVID-19 vaccinations with Johnson & Johnson doses. You'd think these people would learn. Fecal transplants made up of poop and microbes are being touted as promising new treatment for skin cancer patients. That's right, she said fecal transplants. They're taking healthy poop and putting it into sick people, and that's supposed to help skin cancer somehow. Scientists say there's a portal to the fifth dimension. Great. So that's the explanation for dark matter. That's cool. A mysterious illness that was paralyzing kids has stopped dead in its tracks during the pandemic. Well, that's fun. That's a good thing, right? Right. All right. California bill would classify non-consensual condom removal as sexual battery. So if a guy removes a condom during intercourse, it would be sexual battery without the girl's permission. Missouri County authorized arrest of feds who violate Second Amendment. This is actually a really cool story too. You should read it because it's great. And then this Army creates quantum sensor that detects entire radio frequency spectrum. That's a kind of a really big deal actually, and very cool. Good for them. So you must not do your own research when it comes to science, guys. Let me say that one more time. You must not do your own research when it comes to science. Research both sides and make up your own mind. It's simple, straightforward, common sense advice. And when it comes to issues like vaccinations, climate change, and the novel coronavirus, it can be dangerous, destructive, and even deadly. Boom, boom, boom. The reason is simple. For most of us, even those of us who are scientists ourselves, lack the relevant scientific expertise needed to adequately evaluate that research on our own. In our own fields, we are aware of the full suite of data, of how those puzzle pieces fit together, and what the frontiers of our knowledge is. When laypersons espouse opinions on those matters, it is immediately clear to us where the gaps in their understanding are and where they've misled themselves in their reasoning. When they take up the arguments of a contrarian scientist, we recognize what they're overlooking, misinterpreting, or omitting. Unless we start valuing the actual expertise and that legitimate experts have spent their lifetimes developing, doing our own research could lead to immeasurable, unnecessary suffering. So it is very important that you don't research anything for yourself when it comes to science. All right. Who will end research into extremely unlikely theory that COVID-19 originated in Wuhan lab? Extremely unlikely theory? That seems like bullshit to me. I'm pretty sure it's highly likely. Anyway, the woman in the Gorilla Glue hair horror may sue over the ordeal, which is pathetic. Guys, you can't, I mean, come on. Guys, stop doing this bullshit. Is vitamin D linked to severe COVID cases? Yes, bro. Still yes. It's been yes. We know that. We've known that from the beginning. I don't know why in the actual F. You guys are just talking about it. It's insane to me. And just insane. New York man dies 25 minutes after receiving COVID vaccine. Right. But the state health officials maintain that the vaccine is safe. Sure it is. Super safe. those might not have been the best examples of the madness that I get in my newsfeed every day, but they were at least partially representative of what 2020 is bringing me and the rest of the world. So please let me know if your feed looks anything like mine. I'm just really curious. And I would love to hear maybe some of your insane 2020 news feed that you've gotten so far.